Hey, what's good? It's Cadillaktrackz. Hey, I'm making this video as an update for my template, the custom MK3 template. I know y'all hear me talk about it all the time, and if you're on my channel, you might actually be here checking it out, or you might be here because you use Maschine and Fruity Loops. But today is July 17th. It's a good day. You know, I'm feeling good today. Today is actually my birthday, so I wanted to give something back to everybody that's contributed to my custom MK3 template. When I first made the template, I knew it was good, and it took me a long time to do it, and I knew it would be special for somebody. So I put the template up, and I put it up there for the $20 that it is. And yeah, I never really did expect over time all the people to buy the template that did. But I really do thank y'all, and I just wanted to go over the updates that I put on the template. And I told everybody that I was going to make updates to this template, and I do so periodically. And this new update, it's basically all the new updates that I put into the template. So I'm sorry for the long intro, but we're going to go ahead and get started. This video is going to be long because it goes over all of the updates on the template. So once again, thank you for everybody who's bought the template. If you haven't bought the template, this is a good video to show you exactly everything that it can do. It's so much more than just a template. When I say template, I think a lot of people they don't understand. So this is for everybody that's using the template, everybody who's thinking about it. Thank you for everybody that's got the template once again. All right, so today is the 17th of July. I'm making an update for the template. If you've already bought the template, you've already paid me through PayPal, and your email address is on file, and I'm going to be sending you a new updated version of the template. You can simply go to your email and click on the link where you downloaded the first one and just click re-download, and it'll re-download it. But I want to make this video too so that you have this material to go over. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and start now with the instructions. When you load up the template, it'll look like this. Your browser may look different depending on how you've arranged it. Okay. So one thing that loads up when you load up my template is, first thing you'll notice, a little quote pop up right here. This is a quote that's important to me that I'm sharing with y'all. So the quote will load up and the template will load up. And you'll see this little box here, these chord codes. These are just chord codes. If you don't know what that is, BusyWorks Beats, he introduced me to this. And it's basically when you're in the piano roll, they have these things called chord codes. You might want to look into it, check it out. It's ways to build chords without actually knowing music theory. You can build any chord or any structure chord right in the piano roll using this chord codes method. So you can just disregard this if you don't want it. It's just good to know and good to have there as a reference. All right, so when you load up the template, it's going to load up like this. I wanted to not customize the template in the mixer like this because everybody has a different workflow, but I realized that you have to do it like this if you're going to utilize the template the way I do it. And with the new features, I brought the new features in using the same setup that I have. So everything is kind of running like this. So you can manipulate it from here, but you have to understand it the way that it is right here. So when you open up the template, it looks like this. The template, I'm making this template on Fruity Loops 12.5, so it should open in 20 fine. It should open in 12.5 fine. It should open in 11 fine also. And if you have any problems, just send me an email. We can go through that. Now, when the template loads up, there's three parts to the template. You have a Fruity Loops template, so you can see right here, I've loaded the Fruity Loops template. You can just go to File, Open, load the Fruity Loops template. You'll notice right here, Maschine VST is open right here. If you click on Maschine VST, it has its own template. And if not, you can always go right here to File, Open, and open the template that I've included. So you'll have the Fruity Loops template open. You'll have the Maschine template open. You can notice on the template, there's three groups. This first one is named Drum Kit. It doesn't have to be your drum kit. It can be anything, whatever. But you have three groups, basically. The way that these groups are routed, it's important to take note of. And the way that I've routed it is that the first four pads on Group A all go to this one mixer track right here, which is track number 2, kicks. So all of my kicks go to one channel. So if you had 4 different samples or whatever you would have on those 4 pads in Group A, they would all go to the same channel right here. And then from there it breaks down. I have all the other pads going to different channels. So I have the next 4 row of pads. That would be pads 5 through 8. They're going through these mixture channels right here, 3 through 6. And I've labeled them snare 1, 2, 3, 4. You might have something else you want to do, but that's just how I have it set up. Then the next 4 pads, I've labeled hi-hat 1 through 4. And they go through these mixer channels right here. Mixer channel 7 through 10. And then on the last 4 pads, that's pad 13 through 16, they go up here into the mixer right here. And I've labeled them perk 1 through perk 4. And again, you can rename them if you want, or you can just keep this structure if you want to. All right. The next group is what I call effects. You can rename it if you want. It's basically a second group. I have this group routed into mixer track 15. So this group has its own mixer track. Whatever you want to do on this group, all the pads are going to mix and link up to this one mixer track. Then I have a third group. I labeled this one perform effects, and that's the reason I made it. Maschine has perform effects, and you should utilize the perform effects. And if you haven't, you should give it a try. Perform effects are basically effects you can put on the full group in Maschine. But you have to realize that with the sounds routed like this, you couldn't put an effect or the perform effect on all the channels because they're all linked up to different channels in Fruity Loops. So with the perform effects, this whole group right here is linked to its own channel. That way, if you had drums or something going on in group 1, you could simply copy the group down here to perform effects group. And once the group's copied, that whole group will now run through this one channel, which you can link perform effects on right from Maschine. All right, so from there we have the 3 groups defined, and I've also let you know, once again, this is the routing. These routings right here are going to the mixer tracks that I designated and explained. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close the machine. You can see that we have tracks 17 through 24 available right here. These are the tracks where you will put your audio, whatever it be. It could be your MIDI, VSTs, your samples. Your audio will go in these tracks. And it goes right here. There's 8 tracks right here. And these tracks can be soloed and muted from my template. You know, on the template there is a page. If you haven't watched the videos, make sure you watch. There's a page where you can solo and mute the tracks. So when I push the solo button, you can see that the tracks solo on and off. And you can see the solo button right here going on and off. There's also the volume knob on the MK3 template for tracks 17 through 24. And you can move that, and you can see that when I move that, the little volume knob moves right here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and reset that. All right, another thing that we've added here is what I call triggers mode. You'll notice a template called triggers inside of the folder of templates on the custom MK3 template. So when you're looking at the templates, all the way at the bottom, you'll notice a new one called triggers. When you load that up, you'll see that these right here, these are MIDI channels that are linked to Fruity Loops and Maschine. And when triggers mode is enabled, all you need to do is go up here into the audio settings. You'll go into MIDI settings, and you'll put the Omni preview channel on channel 1. Once that's selected, triggers mode will be enabled, and you can see that the pads are labeled on the template and on the custom MK3. And you can see that when you hit the pads, all the bottom pads play the kick, and then the 4 pads play the snares, and then the next 4 play the hi-hats, and then the next 4 play the drum percussion sounds. With this mode enabled, you can basically finger drum or play your machine live and have it record into the different channels right here in the sequencer live. And if you need more information on that, you need to watch my quick tip video that I've included. So basically you can drum or finger drum drums on multiple pads and push record, and it'll record those right into the step sequencer on Fruity Loops and multiple different pads, multiple sounds at one time, just like a drum machine. All right, that's the triggers mode. One important thing about the triggers mode is that when you're using triggers mode, for these pads to link up to these slots, the way that I've set them up, there has to be exactly this many number of channels. And you might notice here that I have these 2 sampler channels. These are empty channels. I like to use these for blank MIDI notes that I want to save. You can use these for whatever you want to. This might be your tag. It's just something miscellaneous. But there does need to be this many channels. And what I mean is by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so forth. And it has to be this many channels for the triggers mode to link up. If you add another channel, it will throw it off by 1, and you'll see that when you hit the pad, it actually plays another sound. So just keep that in mind. For the triggers mode to work, it simply needs to have this many numbers of channels. All right, that's the triggers mode. And once again, you can watch my video for more information on that. All right, another thing we added is locks mode. Locks mode, as you know, on the Maschine MK3, it has a lock mode. Locks mode basically allows you to arrange different lock states, those meaning that you could have one state with certain sounds soloed and muted, and another state with those sounds unmuted. So you can basically have different sequences, and you can also have different effects, and basically it's the lock mode on Maschine. And what I've done is I've created a mode where we can arrange lock states. And if you need more information on that, just watch my quick tips video on my channel on lock states. This is the lock states functions. By clicking on this lock states, you can arrange lock states. It's already set up. All you'll need to do is go into the piano roll. In the video, I explain how the lock states start at the bottom C. So you'd start down here, and you just simply put a note. Each note will specify a new lock state. Lock state 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. And as the timer goes, you'll see it moving from lock state to lock state. So once again, watch my quick tip video if you need more understanding on how to use lock states. But that's how you can set it up right here in Fruity Loops. It's a part of my template. All right, another thing that I've added on the template is these right here, the step sequencer. You might be wondering, what are all these right here? As you can see, when you click on them, they're all MIDI outs, and they're all routed to Maschine individually. So you can see that they're all MIDI outs, and they're routed to Maschine. What these allow you to do is to actually sequence the drums inside of Fruity Loops. And that's something I wasn't able to do at first, but with this method, you can sequence them inside. Laying down notes right here on this kick channel will activate or push the pads with the kicks are lit. It'll push the kick pad, basically pads 1 through 4, which I've specified for the kicks. Pushing a kick will play all of these channels. If you had 4 different samples, you could actually specify which one you wanted to go by just muting them out right here. And the same thing for the other channels. You can see right here, snare 1, snare 2. I can lay down snares and drums right here, and when the snare hits, it'll actually play this pad right here where the snare or the drum in Maschine is loaded. So it allows you to sequence out the drums on Fruity Loops that are coming from Maschine. If you need more understanding on that, watch my quick tips video on step sequencer, and it'll give you more details on how to set that up. All right. And another thing with the step sequencer, you can actually you can record sounds from the pad right here on the step sequencer by simply going up here to step mode. I can actually record notes right here into the step sequencer, drumming them from the pads on Maschine. So it's another thing to keep in mind. And once again, just watch the quick tip video I have on that subject if you need more information on that. All right, that's about it. One more thing, I've changed the default nudge to step, whole step. And what that means is if you use the nudge command, a lot of times when you nudge a note, if you have a note down here in Maschine and I go and I hold shift and I push nudge, it'll usually move it half a step. So you'll push nudge twice to move it over a whole note. I have it set to default move 1 step. So every time you push nudge, it will always move 1 step. All right. It just makes it easier to arrange and move notes, so you're not pushing the nudge button so many times. All right, and one last thing I wanted to go over that some people might not be aware of with the template is the swing mode. I have a button and a knob for swing on my template, and you can see that right there where it says swing. Hitting the swing, moving the swing knob turns up the swing, as you can see. But the way that Fruity Loops sets up swing is that when you move it, it swings every channel. And I just thought that was so dumb when I first started using swing, because you don't want to swing everything all the time, you know. If I wanted to, so basically on my template, swing is set up independently. And what that means is that every channel, if you click on it and you look at the swing, you can see that the swing is turned down by default. And what that means is that when I turn swing up, or when you turn swing up using the knob on your MK3, it won't swing any channel until you go to that specific channel and you go into the swing setting and turn that specific channel up. That way you can swing certain channels without swinging the whole project and all your samples and audio clips and everything. So that's the way I have swing set up on my template. That's about it, man. There's so much more in the template. This is not a video going over the whole template, but it's still a long video just explaining what I've been up to, giving thanks, and also going over the new features that the template has to offer. I have quick tip videos on these features. They go into specific detail on these features, so if there's any feature that you don't understand, just watch the quick tip video, shoot me an email or a question on the video, and I'll make sure to answer you. But I wanted to give everybody an update on the template, and this is how I have to do it. I have to actually give you all the pieces that I'm utilizing. So now you have the step sequence, or the step sequence. You have the new triggers mode, which means that you can actually play live multiple channels. You have the new locks mode, which means you can sequence out and arrange lock states in Fruity Loops. You have the new default whole step nudge. That means that every time you nudge from now on, it'll move a whole step instead of just half a step. You'll notice that that'll come in handy for you. And from now on, you have channel 17 through 24 as your active 8 audio channels. And those channels are linked up to the knobs for volume and solo and mute, just like before. And all right, then there's one more thing I almost forgot. I have one more template mode called all whites. And what that is, if you notice under the template screen at the very bottom, there's one called all whites. And if you load that template up, what it allows you to do is to play all the white keys on the pads. It was something that I needed in a few situations, and so I went ahead and incorporated it. Sometimes when you use different MIDI plugins, or just if you're doing something where you need to hit all white keys, this way you can play all the white keys on the pads. So it's basically, you know, the C minor going up and down the scale. I mean C major, excuse me, going up and down the scale, all the white keys. And that's the last new addition that I've added, called all whites. All right, so I'm go ahead and end the video. I know this is kind of long, so just bear with me on that. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew all the new features. I'm gonna send this video out with the download from now on, and I'm gonna make everybody aware that has the template of this video. And I'm gonna go ahead and end it like that. All the mixer channels are blank, you can see. And you can, like I said, rename these. The pad starting here on channel 2, it gives you that first channel to be open. I like to put the 808 there. You don't have to, but I feel like the 808 and the kick need to be next to each other in the mixer so that you can see them and compare them visually. Just a thought. You can put whatever there. And you'll also notice this right here, channel 26. It says Fruity Loop Studio Sounds. And that's because that's the channel that sounds come through. So if you're going through your little browser and you're looking at sounds, you know. Those sounds right here will go through channel 26. And I don't know, looks like I might not have actually set that. Yeah, I did set it. Alright, so this is Cadillaktrackz, man. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end the video right here. This Cadillaktrackz. Until next time. Yeah, you can see whenever you hit a sound right here, it plays through mixer track 26. This will also be the channel that your metronome plays through if you're playing the metronome. So it's not going to be on the master. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the video like that, man. Sorry for the long video, but I just want to make sure everybody knows of all the features on the template. And that's it, man. If you have any questions, make sure you check me out on YouTube. I have a whole channel dedicated to quick tips on how to use these two together. All right, this is the new updates, man. Peace.